He's also tossing the fuckers around like it's nothing. I kept laughing. We're just like,
across the screen.
What's your favorite scary movie? Swallow this.
Everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Air on the Head Show. Mr. Lance, Mr. John, back together once again for another adventure into the world of film. My old companion, Mr. Arrow. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm on the wagon, bro. I'm on the wagon.
Mistakes were made.
No, I wouldn't say that. No. I mean, you know, as I told you last show, my brother came for my birthday, so you know, we partied pretty hard and gotta lose a couple pounds. So I'm like, all right, let's detox for the month. So the drinking section will be very boring with me, guys and dolls, for the month, I would say. Yeah.
Oh, take care of the liver, take care of the kidneys.
Exactly.
Need those for a little bit, you know. Yeah,
especially when I meet up with you in person. That's for sure.
All right, John. Well, then I guess we'll start with you because, you know, beauty before brains here. What are you drinking? What's your non-alcoholic beverage?
Green tea.
Yeah. Caffeine?
No caffeine in the green tea.
Okay, what is it? Well, I can't see it. Did you make it?
Yeah, you know, green tea. They sell like these pouches of green tea with no caffeine in them. So that's what I'm rolling because I'm high strong already, so I'm going that way. Just tell me that you're drinking something really cool that's not out of a can.
No, I'm drinking a beer for the first time in a while, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of beer?
It's called Florida Man. It's from Cigar City, which is out of Tampa. I like Tampa. We talked about this. Ybor is a fun little town. It's just an IPA, just something light. I had a friend out from Chicago. She stayed the weekend and we hit it pretty hard as well. So I was taking it easy this week. So I figured a beer is nice and smooth, nothing hard. That's so. I guess we're both.
Well, I'm full bitch. You're half bitch.
Yeah.
So
I mean, what are you gonna do?
I'll drink to that. Cheers, my man. Cheers to buddy. All of you. Sorry about this, but it happens.
Hello, my friends. Hey!
Once again. I swear at some point we're going to have to like take on a movie that we hate, but we're taking on Chris Wallace's sequel to David Cronenberg's The Fly 2, which was 1989, if memory serves me right.
You are correct.
A film that got shat on and spat on upon its initial release. I personally never got it. I never understood why, you know, we had the cerebral AIDS metaphor original The Fly. And then The Fly 2, it's always damn if you do, damn if you don't with sequels. If you stay too close to the OG, oh, it's the same shit. If you do your own thing, oh, it's too different from the OG. So it's really rare that a sequel can win in terms of public opinion. I thought The Fly 2 did enough of what the first film did well, and then embraced the B movie with a budget, monster on the loose, no holds barred, no fucking around vibe that I love. So I really don't get the hate for this one.
Time and place is all I can think about. I did a video in this a while back, and I was saying, and I'll say it here, there's like two kinds of sequels. There's the ones that sort of outdo or are just regarded as like, you know, Godfather 2, Aliens.
Yeah.
Though I don't necessarily agree. People absolutely love Scream 2. There's those kind of sequels, right? And then there's the kind of people hate. But in that hateful group, I feel are ones that their only sin is that they came after something that is lauded in the history of film. Jaws 2, Psycho 2, even though that's got a little more respect in my later life, but it didn't for most of it. So I'm not giving that up yet. Jaws 2, Psycho 2, and The Fly 2. Yeah. Because all of them did exactly what they should have done, which is respected the original, but they leaned into the B-movie aspects that the original always had, but an auteur director sort of classed it out.
Yeah.
Now, like Jaws 2 is a good example of Jaws should be a B-movie. It is a B movie, but you also had a master like Spielberg and the right time, right place, and obviously just the magic of the gods making it perfect. And though Cronenberg didn't have an issue with making The Fly, I nobody expected The Fly to be a masterpiece. I think it's just this young Canadian guy came in and just blew people away. Yeah. And so The Fly 2 is like, well, you're gonna have to follow that. It's like this is cool. On its own, The Fly 2, I think, would be a well-respected, great 80s movie. I think the only problem is it is The Fly 2. Because most people hate it, I think, off the bat. This is one of those, I think, kind of, and I'm wondering how our audience is going to receive this, because I feel like nobody talks about The Fly 2. I think it's been buried and left for dead. I don't,
that's really unfortunate, because, if you guys and dolls haven't seen The Fly 2, you're definitely missing out. I don't know if you're aware of this, but, Mick Garris did the initial script, and the initial script had something to do with a religious cult that convinces the Geena Davis character, I forgot her name in the movie, to keep the baby, and then, they take the baby and raise it. And I'm sure I don't know much more beyond that, but being that it's a religious cult, I'm sure there's like some higher purpose, that they're keeping this man fly, around, higher like godly purpose. I don't fucking know. But Chris Wallace was like, fuck this shit. I ain't doing this fucking movie unless we get it rewritten. And of course, who they bring to rewrite Garris's script? The great Frank Darabont. And the film that we have now is Frank Darabont, having retooled Mick Garris's script. And I'm very grateful for that. No disrespect to Mick Garris, obviously, but because I really love what we got. And all shit doesn't appeal to me. Yeah.
Oh, well, I love The Curse of the Thorn, Halloween 6, and I have a soft spot for that cheesy, stupid movie, so I probably would love it as well. But you gotta bring Mr. Shawshank, the guy that also did The Blob, helped, rewrite and polish up the best, or, at least we could agree second best Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Yeah, so it's like, bring this guy in. And this has those sort of hallmarks of his like 80s thing, which is like bigger and better. He almost had a Cameron thing. I just think it was the Darabont way. But I mean, this delivered on, I always joked, this gave you what the first movie sort of promised. It gave you The Fly. But the guy, Mr. Wallace, is a special effects artist. He won an Oscar for the original Fly. Yeah. And so my argument is he might not be the most engaging director.
Disagree.
But I think... compared to Cronenberg, I think
disagree really? Again. Disagree again, because it's not fair to compare the directing style in Fly 2, which is exquisite for the kind of movie that it is, to the directing in The Fly, which is excellent for the kind of movie that it is. There are two different types of movies with similar themes, but they're very different kind of movies.
I think there's a little more point and shoot. I think I needs more pizzazz. Yeah, I think the effects artist in him knew how to shoot the effects really well. How the
effects were well shot. The action sequences were well shot. The stunts were well shot. I mean, that scene when the fly is jumping rooftops. Yeah. I'm popping a boner right now and the table's lifting. Good. Cronenberg did a character-driven body horror drama.
Yes.
The Fly 2 is a coming of fly age movie with, a last act that just screams, let's just have a fucking good time. Unleash the beast and let's just fuck everything up, which it does in a fucking awesome way.
I mean, I think there was a miscommunication. I don't think it's a bad directing. I'm just saying I think it's a slightly more standard than I would have preferred. I mean, I would say the action is decent. I do agree. I think it's blocked well. But this is a super weird movie, and I would have appreciated maybe a little more Gilliam in here, a little more maybe Lynch, just something a little more bizarre.
Really?
So I watched these two movies as a kid, real young. I was reminisce about how in the 80s your parents didn't give a shit what you watched. Like if my dad was watching Basic Instinct and we had one TV, I was watching Basic Instinct. It's not like this generation. Not to sound like the old man yelling at cloud here.
Well, then again, this generation watches every single fucking thing they can on a phone. That 9 years old on Pornhub. So I don't know what you're talking about.
They have access to a lot, but the difference is if you don't know something exists, you can't look it up. Whereas at the video store, you went and I saw this and I rented it. There's a whole argument to be made that the kids nowadays are missing out on a lot of cool stuff because there's not like a general consensus of like what's out there. too much content. But I watched this in the first one, and I remember this one fucked with my little kid brain a lot more. I thought it was a lot more bizarre, a lot weirder, a lot more uncomfortable. It tonally very interesting, a very interesting movie tonally, and I think that it could benefit from a little weird directing, but that's not even a negative because I still think this guy knocked it out of the park and is responsible for some of the best stuff in the world. And that, like I said, just a little touch I would have appreciated, but it gave us though what I wanted, which is they gave us a fly. That last 20, 30 minutes is, I think, why we're here. I mean, I think it builds up well. I'd argue it's a decent drama too.
No, I agree. I totally agree. Actually, that's everybody remembers. Well, everybody, I don't fucking know.
Like three of us. You mean like the one guy? Yeah.
Yeah, the one guy. You. Yeah, right there. You, bro. Or sister. Yeah, sister with an A. That's how I roll. The drama's pretty compelling. Yeah. There's a lot of heartfelt moments. Of course, we all know the dog. What happens with the dog. That's pretty right here. And the plight of what's his name, Martin Brundle. His plight. I felt for him. I thought Stoltz was excellent in the role. So for a while, from Little Brundle to when he's played by Harley Cross, as a young kid. Who, by the way, was in Eric Red's Conan Tate, was also the kid in The Believers, a very underrated voodoo movie with Martin Sheen. But everything with the kid was very poignant. Then he becomes like an adult, very engaging. And then we have the love story, which, it's a movie love story in my opinion, in the sense of how it happens, how they connect. You're kind of like, oh, only in the movies do people fall for each other like that. But with that said, I thought the chemistry between the two made it credible, and I bought it. I just went with it. So, the movie is a powerful drama for the first 45, 50 minutes, and then the last act, it's a gore explosion. Yeah.
Well, I think I'm gonna say I think why the drama works here is that it did the opposite of the first, which is Goldblum's character. He's cocky. He's smart, but he's just he's kind of a douchebag, but he's so charming that it works. Whereas this is like this innocent kid, and the entire time he's just sort of full of wonder and kindness. It's like, man, this poor guy, he didn't do anything wrong. He was just born in the wrong situation. Even at the beginning, they're being mean to the girl and the security guy. It's like one of those over the top OCP kind of things where everybody's so mean for no reason, and he's just could I do this? No, get into the fucking thing.
Or the guy with the needle, being an asshole all the time,
We're being why? The kid could be a threat, but, at that point, don't poke the bear, don't shake the bee nest here. But, I think Stoltz just has that vibe, he's very soft-spoken and he seems nice. And I think that works really well with this. I think another actor, if they didn't go that portrayal, could have turned, because him being just, gee golly, I think kind of got me. And the girl, been oh, just sweet as too. Everybody's sweet except for the fucking that security guard. Could you talk about how awesome that guy is though?
The blonde guy, yeah. Yeah. Well, that guy was actually a comedian, a stand-up comic or something.
I guess that makes sense. He has that sharpness that I liked. I was like, I like him.
Yeah. And when they hired him, the Koalas didn't know, but then it started going around the set that, this guy's a fucking comedian. So then Wallace is this guy going to be able to pull off playing it straight? And he did. He did a fan. He's such an asshole.
I know. But he's great. I mean, we talked about this before, and I think we both agree. I don't like asshole characters. I don't like asshole characters. But if you're an ultra asshole, then I actually somehow love you, and you're my favorite part.
I guess that's what you get for fucking around with Bartok's pet freak, huh?
He's he's twirling mustache asshole. I'm
Dude, yeah, fuck you, dude. You beat me to it. I was holding that in my back pocket as one of my negatives, really, that everybody from the blonde asshole to the doctors they're all mustache twirling quads. They're so evil for no reason. Yeah. So, that's what I mean. So they're evil. They're cartoonish evil.
Yes.
So I think it would have carried more weight if, the dad guy, the old dude, Lee Richardson, right? Mm-hmm. That's the name of the guy. He came off more like a real person, a bad real person, but still a real person. But everybody else around came off like pastiche, And I just wanted to use that
everybody
word.
Stick up their ass for no reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. The B movie parts of this I like tend to be more the action and the horror. But it bleeds into the drama. And I'm like, man, you actually had a pretty good drama going here.
Yeah.
Like, if you were able to separate that a little better, then you would actually had a great drama movie that just has a cool ending set piece where you're like, yeah, because you want to root for the Fly. Like, at no point is the Fly doing anything I disagree with. Oh, security guard's been a prick, melt his face. He's also tossing the fuckers around like it's nothing. I kept laughing. We're just like,
across the screen.
I know it's supposed to be serious, but I'm always like, it's awesome.
Yeah, and I guess maybe that was their MO, let's make the villains so unlikable so that when they get whacked, you cheer.
Yeah.
So, and let's talk about the kills for a moment. I mean, obviously the melted face.
That's so cool. That still holds up really, really well.
Yeah,
I mean, the effects guy, of course.
The elevator head crush, which, by the way, was not in the script. That elevator was not even going to be in the film. They were using it to carry equipment, like film equipment. And
I did not know that.
Yeah, and Chris Wallace saw it. And he's like, I got an idea. So, they throw the guy in. Of course, I love that bit.
Looks up.
They throw him in, the elevator's coming, and he's like, dude, just walk the fuck out.
It's like,
but he finally walks out and puts his head in a beautiful, like, crushed head, like a thing of beauty, bro.
It's a great shot. But you're right.
Yeah.
It's like the Austin Powers. The steamroller's like 40 feet away. I was like, no. Or it's like, dude, just do that. But I mean, you're right, though, because there's like a few really gory parts at the end. And I think that's the sort of hurrah that we're waiting for. Yeah, no, I love it. I mean, I'm always impressed and stuff. Maybe it's just because things are so weird now. Like TV is really gory, but movies have been hit or miss. Then I guess Evil Dead, is gory as well. But I don't know. Every time I see old gore, I'm always, yeah, man, right here. Just an over the top, kill and the face melting is a great example
face
of like
melting's amazing.
So aggressive. I was like, there we go. Yeah.
Even all the cocoon stuff, and like the opening cocoon. She gives birth, and then the cocoon when he becomes Eric Stoltz becomes the Fly.
Like translucent.
Exactly, and the monster himself too. All puppetry. No VFX, no CGI. Beautifully made, man. Beautifully made. Yeah, well, we're old, so VFX can't top this shit, dude.
No, because it's in the scene. We've 100% agree on this, which has always been
in camera. Yeah,
yeah. It has a different feel, even if it looks fake. I prefer it because I could tell that it's interacting with the environment. Things just reflect off. And I mean, this looks great because it's an effects guy. So this isn't a case of me being like, well, it's not great, but I still love it. No, it looks like a cool monster. Like there's a picture, I was looking at pictures and it's like, everything. I mean, it moves cool too. I mean, obviously it's puppeted, but like I kind of like that stilty movements.
Yeah, me too.
There's something about that kind
when
of
she
shit.
walks, down the hallway, dragging the guy by the tie, and you see, doop, 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 doop. It's cool, man.
Of course.
I will say I was a bit disappointed by the kill of the blonde asshole.
Yeah, he didn't. He should have been.
He should have been the melted
melt.
face. Yeah, the melted face. Yeah, they snap him, kind of like in Friday 13 Part 6 with the dad. Gets it from Jason. He kind of bends him backwards.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. And I'm like, I would have killed Swap.
Yeah, he should have been or the head. No, he should have been a violent because he was like basically the main antagonist.
Yeah, definitely. He's just busting balls, man, left and right. And like he hates that kid for reasons that nobody knows. Well, we've already addressed some of our negatives. Any other negatives? I have one left. That's it.
It's not as tight, but
It's a different movie.
But as a movie, if this was its own movie, it's still. I think it should have got another a polish a little. Personally, I mean, there's a couple things like I said, the OCP Corp stuff doesn't really work. I mean, I'm laughing at it, I'm having fun, but like that whole thing is to me like a one-page note. It's like, hey guys, could we just flesh out these two people? Stuff like that. I mean, it's a little negative. I mean, I'm going as deep as I can because I really like this movie and I think it's just a fun, enjoyable monster movie.
My only true negative outside of what I've already mentioned is I fucking hate it, and some Friday the 13 movies do that too. You introduce me to unlikable characters and then there's a stock sequence and you take like whatever, I'm going to exaggerate and make a point, 15 minutes to get to the kill. When
Excellent.
I couldn't give two fucks about this person, so you're not generating suspense. I'm just like watching my watch, waiting for that fucking kill. And the perfect example in terms of this film is the guy with the tie, the guy with the needle, and then he gets choked with the tie. He's in the hallway. And it goes on and on and on. I'm just like, okay, when's the fly going to show up? I don't give a shit about this dude. I don't feel scared for this dude. I just want to see him get whacked already. Some pacing in terms of the stock sequences.
So you said the same thing about Takes Manhattan, I remember. So that's fair.
Yeah, Jude. Yeah.
Just say it.
No, it's true. I mean, for fuck's sakes, all the characters in Jason Takes Manhattan, other than the boxer, are fairly Julius. Yeah. Fairly, who cares, man? So, and we all know the kills are dry, so you wait for half an hour for a kill, and then Jason comes in and delivers nothing. So you're like, oh, it's a barrel of toxic waste. Whoop-de-fuck-you-do. But I digress.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can see it. I don't disagree. It didn't bother me as much personally, but I mean, that's I guess I think there's a lot of tightening that can be do here, but I don't really care because it delivers on what it's supposed to be, which is a monster movie with more heart than it should have had, because I think Stoltz kicked ass.
Dude, right down to the last thing when, which I love that, because the fly, Eric Stoltz character, Brundle, he grows up, he's a kid, and he looks up to the head, the top dog, Lee Richardson. Yeah, exactly. And I love that at the end, that the password all along was dad, because that's how he saw that dude. And he got fucked over by that dude. So like, right here, man, right here.
And that guy becomes the new dog.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah, that's actually a cool ending.
It is a very good. Well, there was another ending. It's funny because at first it ended that way, and then the studio said, "Hey, we're going to put another ending to hint at a sequel." So yeah, the studio forced them to do a tacked on ending, kind of like it's not over. So
it negates that heartfelt ending where makes his dad the dog. Like, no, that's perfect ending. Any more than that's stupid.
Well, thankfully, the test screening audience hated it. There's another deleted scene that I saw where Baby Brundle, although he's Stoltz, just go with it. He's in a car and he's being harassed by children or something, like in another car. And he like projectile vomits on the window. I don't know why these kids are being dicks. It's kind of like out of context. Projectile vomits on the window, and then Daphne Z, I'll call her Daphne Z, comes out. Oh my god, and the window's melted. And I'm like, yeah, I'm happy to cut that out too. I'm just very passionate about this movie. One scene that always like got me was the scene where he finds out his apartment, that dad gave him, he finds out that he's been videotaped, all over the place, and then the betrayal, and you feel it, you feel the betrayal. I guess finally, I'm not going to finish my thoughts without mentioning Christopher Young's excellent score.
Yes.
Which sounded a lot like the Hellraiser 2 score in places, which he did as well.
I'd have to go back and watch Hellraiser 2. No, yeah, the score in this kind of helped. It kind of, maybe that's why it's so creepy to me as a kid. There's something unnerving about this,
Yeah. So, overall, is it flawed? Yes. Did it manage to entertain me, wow me, and even tug at my deadbeat heartstrings? Yes.
Heartstrings.
Is it better than your average horror movie? Yes. Does it have great special effects, great gore? Yes. Good pacing? Yes. Great music? Yes. So, again, I don't understand why, it's not The Fly 1, and I don't want The Fly 1 all over again. I don't want to see the same movie over and over again. So, I'm very happy the direction they took with The Fly 2.
That's still respecting the original, and I think that's smart,
There was a fuckload of studio interference, I know that. Fox is known for that shit. But it came out good. So
100% agree. I do think this is due for a resurgence. I just don't know how. Because again, I do think this is one of those movies that just got buried in life. Like Psycho 2, people always hated, then they came around. But people always talked about Psycho 2. Jaws 2, I'm sure when it came out, it was probably disappointing. But that for most of my life, there was always a little bit of reverence for it.
Yeah.
This just somebody talks about. I almost feel like it's one of those. I don't know if it didn't get a good Blu-ray release or because physical media, I do think is what kind of carries things on. It might be that I'm talking out of my ass when I say this, but besides you know, when you're talking about with me off camera about like, about The Fly 2, and I was like, man, nobody talks about The Fly 2. I wish it would come up more in conversation. But it is one of those things, man, that if you haven't seen it or if you remember not liking it, I would absolutely give it a rewatch. That would be my big pitch of this show. Like it's actually pretty damn solid if you could just get over the hardcore classic of the first.
What about you guys? I mean, we're doing our part here, giving The Fly 2 some love, but what about you?
Yeah, I'm curious what people think about this.
Yeah, do you like this film? Have you seen this film? Are you willing to revisit based on our diatribe? Spew acid vomit in the comments below.
I was wondering how you're going to say it. I was like, okay, how are you going to type in the comments? What's the word? I try. You're good at it. I'm very impressed.
Spew the acid comment. No. God. We're pretty close to hitting 4,000 subscribers. So I want to thank everybody that's been supporting the channel, supporting our shows, the Manson Brothers, Air on the Head Show, obviously, and Modern Horror Movie Talk. That doesn't roll off the tongue, you know that. Thank you very much. Keep spreading the word. Keep sharing if you can. Tell your friends, your grandma, whoever who they love horror movies to come watch our show, because that's one of the ways that a channel like ours grows is that word of mouth, really, and
stays. Because this is, we're just here to hang out and talk. And until then, everybody, thank you so much. And hopefully, at the time this airs, we're at 4,000 subs, and I will myself a little drink and celebrate. And I know you're dry, so I'll make sure to text it to you so that you know what you're missing.
Fuck my life. But yeah, awesome, dude. Well, be good, Lancy boy. Thank you, guys and dolls, and see you next week.